We have the performance statistics for the NHS in December, the last month of 2017, and the number we'll focus on is the accident and emergency performance. Remember, the target that all hospitals and trusts work to is that 95% of patients are seen within 4 hours, seen or treated, admitted or discharged within 4 hours. That number for December was 85.1%. That is more than a percentage point down than on this time a year ago. It's the same number as January of this year, which is the worst month on record for the NHS. So December was as bad as it has ever been for hospital staff and patients arriving at accident and emergency departments in the NHS. And this, remember, despite the government repeatedly saying the NHS is better prepared than it has ever been and it has all the resources it needs. Now, of course, the NHS has done more work than ever, but it demonstrates they're really struggling to cope with this pressure. They've treated more patients than the previous year, so demand is rising. Staff are working very hard to try and keep up, but they're still falling backwards on that key 95% 4-hour target. Two other numbers for you very quickly. There were still more than 16,600 ambulance handover delays. That's delays of more than the recommended 30 minutes for patients to be handed from an ambulance crew to a hospital crew. That's for last week. That was the figure last week meant it was about 1 in 8 patients across the winter, and 1 in 6 in the last week of 2017 were waiting more than half an hour on an ambulance. That number is still very high, and bed occupancy has gone up since the last week of 2017. These numbers for the week to last Sunday: 95% of beds in the NHS were occupied in England last week. The safe level, the rule of thumb, is 85%. The expected level is 92%, running well ahead of that. These numbers give credence to the anecdotal evidence that's been piling up.